Okay, I'm coming up from the far west end of Pinto Valley. This section where I'm at now is actually called Willow Springs. There's one of the last willows. There are none. There are none left. But anyway, this is classic Rainbow Gardens member that washed down limestone and sand and stuff over the surface onto the top of the Jurassic sandstone that already existed. So what you're looking at, this material filled a valley. Right here, it came down and filled up a valley because the top of the landscape then that this material washed down on had been eroded and was sitting there for millions of years. Hundreds of feet of it had been eroded away. And so obviously in a landscape you would have ravines, just like what you expect. And so there you go. There's a good example of it. Right there. Now here's the rainbow material. And see how it's mixed in with this crap here. So you didn't have like a ravine of rock. And this came down perfectly like it was being filled with cement. It was a mix. See how this stuff was wet? See, you can tell. See, it's not perfectly stratified, and you see the gypsum, the layers of gypsum. So it was a wet, gooey mess that this thing bulldozed down into. Okay, there you go. Okay, so now I'm up above. You know, I climbed up to 10 feet. Now I'm up above. But see the layers? That's like Moenkopi. That's very old. That could have dinosaur tracks in it. But see, it's you can tell it's a wet mess. That's how it was laid down, because the sea was receding. So anyway, there's the Rainbow Gardens member that I was talking about just a few feet to my left. But you see how it came down and it filled like a ravine. That is what that is. That is what it is. And this here goes down, and then just down there a few feet is where I filmed. And even then, this goes down into the ground. It extends down into the ground. So clearly, this filled a ravine. And I did hike up here with a couple times with experts, Aubrey and, well, I probably shouldn't say names, but they're both professors, and they explain that this stuff here is Moenkopi and could quite easily have tracks, but they would be small because back then there were no big dinosaurs. They would be very small, like alligator type prints. Okay, this one got longer than I expected. But you see the salts, the layers of the whitest salts bleeding out? That's the old shoreline of Pangaea. You see the salts. And so I forgot to say that all these layers for millions and millions of years were the equivalent of like Alabama, Mississippi, New Orleans, shallow mudflats, shallow tide flats. The tide would come and go. Sometimes the ocean would get higher and then lower down, but that's what this is. That's exactly what it is. The edge of Pangaea, which today would be the equivalent of, like I said, Mississippi, Alabama. But back then there was hardly anything there. There weren't animals and plants and stuff up on the land. See, now I'm up about 1,000 feet further and looking back at the Moenkopi stuff. And I want to point out that look what it's on the back of. In other words, the Moenkopi reddish came later. But that is ancient limestone, over 300 million years old. Kaibab, limestone, and other members. But that is true, well-established deep ocean that sat for millions and millions of years off the coast of Pangaea as everything got pushed north. But that's Kaibab limestone, which doesn't erode very good, and it got tilted up, so there it is. So there it is, for some context. You know, I may end up just making this one whole big long video. To hell with it, because I like doing geology videos. A little bit further now. But anyway, there's virgin limestone. There were no virgins then. Almost nothing was there. The virgin limestone, member, as it pertains to Las Vegas, was the last time that the ocean was there. The ocean was receding, and so you see what you've got. No fossils of established stuff on the bottom, like in the Kaibab limestone, which was pretty deep ocean, way, 1,000 miles out to sea. So you don't have fossils like that, because this was along the shoreline. The ocean was drying up. Well, it wasn't not drying up, it was receding. And so that's what you've got there. And then I'll show up here a better example of the layers that establish what it is. A couple hundred feet further, but see, there's the Rainbow Gardens, member, on top that I did the big speech about how it came down a ravine. Okay, now the Rainbow Gardens, member, is relatively new. It's relatively recent. It's what washed over the landscape. It washed over limestone blocks and sandstone. So it washed over the existing landscape. And see there? There's the Moenkopi. See that red crap? Because remember, that had eroded. It was sitting exposed. It eroded for millions of years. And so that's an unconformity. In other words, there's about 200 million years missing. But see there, it's all over the landscape. It came down a big slope. It covered the landscape. And so there you're seeing it on top of the landscape that existed, instead of coming down a ravine like the earlier video showed. In a lot of places you're walking along east of Las Vegas, out here where I'm at, if you're walking across level land, actually you almost certainly are walking on top of Rainbow Gardens, member, that you see there. Another quick one about unconformities and where I'm standing right now. I'm in and among what should be some petrified stuff in the Chinle, and afterwards when the Carnian was starting up. Okay, but anyway, you see, that's an unconformity. It's the eroded exposed surface that was there when the Rainbow Gardens, member, washed down. Okay, now on top, see that dark red, the unconformity where the Rainbow Gardens is? Well, the Aztec sandstone of Valley of Fire and Red Rock, Las Vegas, would be on top of it. It would be on top of it. That's older than our Aztec Navajo sandstone of Zion National Park and those areas. And so that sand that was there either didn't deposit there or it got washed away. It got washed away. So the Aztec sandstone would be way up there, 2,000 feet. Your sand dunes. Okay, so now things are tilted. This is tilted at a 60-degree angle. Okay, so across here, there's the Rainbow Gardens, member, there. Relatively recent washdown. But then suddenly you jump, and now you look there. There you're looking at almost brand new. Now just look right there. Now you're back 230 million years. So you see what I'm saying? Suddenly you're missing 230 million years. So you can't look at a slope and think you're looking at the layers of a cake or pages out of a book that are perfect. No, there's a lot of crap missing. So there we go. This is a target area of the Chinle when the Carnian rain event was starting up. And so this is where there should be some petrified stuff in it. This is actually why I came up here today.